like this, 'cause the music makes me high. And if I only got one more night, I'm gonna leave out loud goodbye.
This gonna be the type of night they make movies about.
Season 8, Episode 3. I believe it's called The Long Night. Oh, man. We can basically just call this the Battle for Winterfell, the Battle for Humanity of the Seven Kingdoms, the Battle Against the Dead, whatever. The official episode, I believe, is called The Long Night. But, man, this episode was fucking nuts. This was intense. So where do we start? The episode starts out with Sam in the middle of the battlefield preparation as they get ready for the battle. I mean, and it was just, there wasn't much talking. They went around to every one of the characters. There was the final preparation was made. The battle formations was up. And then you get a horse coming in, and who is it? Melisandre, the Red Woman. Davos runs up on her. Like, yeah, I'm about to get my first murder. My first murder ain't gonna be a white. It's about to be this bitch right here. She says, hold on, Davos. Ain't no need to kill me. I'll be dead by dawn. But before she says that, she rides up to Jorah and says to tell the Dothraki to raise their swords. He does. They raise their swords. She walks over, says the words of the fire priestess, and lights up all of their swords, just like Beric Dondarrion. I loved it. I thought it was dope. All of their swords, and then they had the long shot of the whole Dothraki horde just Dothraki was shining, baby, looking like warriors, ready to ride into battle, flaming swords and all. And we've seen what the horde of Dothraki on horseback can do. They was about to wreck shop, baby. It was going down, right? Woo! So they unleashed the Dothraki. And I just want to say R.I.P. to the Dothraki. Yeah, man. The entire Dothraki Khalasar. Gone. Done. Finito. In the span of about 2 minutes. It was terrifying. And it was epic. They have the long shot of the whole Dothraki horde riding into battle, and you just see them hit a wall. And then they see the long shot of the Unsullied on the front lines, and Jorah and all those guys watching, and all you can see is the Dothraki flaming swords as they start to get fewer and fewer as the flames go out, and you can hear the Dothraki screamers dying, and the screams stop, and the flaming swords is gone. R.I.P. to the Dothraki. The entire Dothraki. Minus maybe 20 survivors or so that was able to retreat and get back. It was bad, bro. I was like, wow, that's how you guys are all gonna die. Then they just flood in and they just start murdering everybody. They just start murdering so after the Dothraki get destroyed, Dany's like, yeah, that wasn't the plan. The plan wasn't to get all of my Dothraki killed. So she hops on Drogon and hops into battle. Jon hops on Rhaegar, hops into battle. And, man, it goes down. The army of the dead was just completely overwhelming them. In the first 2-3 minutes of the battle, they were almost all dead. Until Dany comes in with the dragons and starts shredding the lines. I mean, those dragons are so effective. The way they can just thin out the herd. Yet there's 100,000 plus of them. So they're all they're doing is delaying the inevitable. But they were able to slow them down and get enough, and then They fly over. John flies and sees the Night King. Not the Night King. He sees a bunch of the some of the White Walker generals on horseback, and he's about to just light them up. He's about to just light all of them up with the dragon fire, and that's when the fucking storm, the winter storm that the Night King always brings with him every time they attack. The storm just comes through, causes chaos and everything. And here's where it was. This is where I just was like, oh, they're all gonna die, because the storm put out all the fire. Put out all the dragon fire. The dragons would try to come by and relight it. The storm was like, nope, and was just putting out all the fire. I was like, oh, you guys are done, bro. You guys are dead. So then the dead just keep advancing. They try to light the trenches. It's too cold and too stormy and too windy to light the trenches. They try to give Dany the signal. She can't even see it through the storm. The whole time the dragons is just flying around. Oh, it is absolute pandemonium. Meanwhile, they cut to the crypts, and you've got Tyrion, Sansa, Varys, a couple of the other people down there with the civilians just praying that they don't get murdered. And then what happens after that? Then they find the Night. Then Bran wargs into some crows, and he finds the Night King on Viserion, and Jon and Dany get into a straight aerial battle with the three dragons. Viserion, Drogon, and Rhaegal all get into this huge battle. A dragon top via the Night King and Dany and Jon. And it was insane. They end up ripping half of Viserion's face off. Dany almost gets burnt up. The Night King gets knocked off of his dragon. Once he does, the dragon just goes and starts setting fire to Winterfell. It was complete insanity. Complete insanity. So they try to light the trenches to keep the dead at bay. And it's so cold and stormy they can't light the trenches. Melisandre comes up and puts her hands on the wood in the trenches and starts chanting the fire summoning jutsu. And finally she gets it and lights the trenches, which was epic. You know what I'm saying? You love my sound effects, my fire sound effects. But it was insane. Yeah, and then they hold off. That has the dead at bay for another 3 minutes, giving everybody a chance to catch their breath. Then you get back to the dragon fight in the air. They're just dragons fighting in the air. It was pretty awesome. The whole time Theon's protecting Bran in the God's Woods. And then then after that, the dead. Oh yeah, because then Bran wargs into the to the crows to see the Night King, and he sees the Night King commands the dead to start falling down onto the fire. Sacrifice 10 or 30 of you to create a bridge over the fire so the rest of the army can get through. They start to do that. They attack the walls. Everybody gets up to the walls. That's when Arya gets her moment to shine. She pulls out the staff, double-bladed staff like Darth Maul, and just starts putting in the work and separates. She starts doing the Bruce Lee thing, and then she starts to get overwhelmed. She puts in work, though. She kills at least, I'd say she kills at least 20 of them. Puts in some real good work, you know what I'm saying? Then, this is what I loved about the episode, because then once Arya gets separated from her weapon and she's on her own, and then turns into a straight horror slasher, catch me if you can, sneak around film for like 10 minutes. There was a whole like 10-minute section where she's sneaking around amongst all the dead, and she's trying to, and it was great. And the Hound comes to her rescue. Beric Dondarrion, before he gets killed, Beric Dondarrion gets killed, by the way. Spoiler alert. Beric, before he gets killed, the Hound is just like, I'm done. After they light the trenches, you know, he's scared of fire. The Hound's like, yeah, we've lost. We're not going to win. I'm done. I'm going to just get drunk. Which is what Tyrion's doing in the crypts, by the way. But, so he's like, I'm done. He said, tell that to Arya. He sees Arya come out bloody, still fighting, and then he goes to try to help her. And so that's the only thing that motivated the Hound to keep fighting. Like he was just gonna quit. Other than he saw Arya, he's like, all right, I'm still fighting. I'm gonna go fight for Arya. She puts it. So then that whole scene, Arya, Beric Dondarrion, and the Hound within Winterfell fighting off the dead that have infiltrated the castle was great. They meet up with Melisandre in the middle of the room. Arya's like, I thought I told you I was gonna kill you. And Melisandre was like, yeah, there's a lot of other people you should kill. You're going to close a lot of eyes. Red, green, and then blue, which gives Arya the plan. You see Arya run off. By this point, I told you the Night King got knocked off his dragon. The dead were surrounded. It was looking bad. Everybody was dying. Ed from the Night's Watch got killed. Oh, yeah. Lyanna Mormont, the lady bear, the little bear, she got murdered by a giant, but she took the giant out before she did. The giant kicks in the doors of Winterfell, kicks her to the side like she's nothing. She gets up, it picks her up and just basically crushes her, and then looks her in the face, and she had a piece of dragon glass. She's just like, for the Bear Island, bitch. Stabbed it in the eye. She didn't say that. Okay, it's Game of Thrones. They have much better writing than that. Stabbed it in the eye, and it died, and then she died. So, of course, I knew she was going to die, but she went out like a champ. And so did Jorah. Jorah died, too. So, there you go. Who's going to run Bear Island now? Nobody's left to run Bear Island. Jorah died, and the young Mormont died. Jorah died defending Dany after she got knocked off by Drogon. Because Drogon had landed, and then he got swarmed by the dead. And they almost killed Drogon, but not really. But he did get hurt. So he takes off and just starts shaking off the dead. And they start falling from the sky, which was that was a pretty cool effect. And so then Dany was surrounded. Jorah comes to save her and tries to get her to safety. And he gets stabbed to death. So he dies. Ed from the Night's Watch dies. Beric Dondarrion dies. What's his name? Theon dies protecting Bran. He actually put in some work. He murdered a good amount of people. Then the Night King got there, and he got murdered by the Night King, just as I predicted last week. And Melisandre died, and the entire Dothraki, Khalasar died. So a lot of people died, but a lot of people lived. I thought for sure Brienne was gonna die, but she lived. Podrick lived. I knew Jaime was going to live because he still got to deal with Cersei, everybody, but that was it. I thought the only person who lived who I thought for sure was going to die was Brienne. I thought Brienne was going to die, but she didn't. So it ends after the Night King kills Theon. He has the beeline for Bran, and he's getting there. He's about to kill Bran, and then out of nowhere comes Arya. And she gets the murder, like, yeah. She jumps, the Night King catches her by the throat, and she does the move that she did against Brienne where they're training, where she drops the Valyrian dagger to the other hand, and then she yacked him in the chest with the dragon glass with the Valyrian steel dagger, ending the life of the Night King. There you go. The living win. All his whites die. The Viserion dies. Down in the crypts, while the battle was going on, there was some good conversation. Tyrion was upset that he wasn't able to take part in the battle, and there was a scene where him and Sansa were talking, and Sansa was like, "We never would have worked out." The Dragon Queen, and then Missandei overhears him. She was like, "Yeah, the Dragon Queen's so terrible. We would have been dead without her already." And then she walks off because she's upset. So anyway, there's going to be that political interest going forward now that the war for the dead is over. I'm sure I'm missing some major scenes. There was some dope scenes between the dragons fighting, especially when they were flying through the sky and all that. There was some just dope visuals. This episode was awesome. I just want to point that out. This episode was awesomely awesome. Huge battle. I mean, man, I thought there was at least 4 different moments where I was like, everybody's gonna die. I was like, you sure this is the series finale? Because I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna die. And I legit was feeling, I was like, how are they there's no way they're gonna win. They're not gonna win. It looked hopeless for very many moments. There was one point when, I almost forgot about that part. There was one point when the dead started coming alive in the crypts. Now, I don't know if they came alive, if that was actually corpses in the crypts that came alive, or if the dead just dug through the ground and got there. I'm not sure what happened, but at some point, the people under crypts, the innocent people in the crypts were under attack. Tyrion and Sansa thought they were going to die. I mean, it was bad. I was like, yeah, this is it. Cersei wins by default because everyone in Winterfell is going to die. But they didn't. They pulled it through. This was a really good episode, man. And we lost some good ones. We lost some day ones. We lost 2 episode 1 characters in Jorah and Theon. These are both characters that have been with us since episode 1. And they're gone. Shouts out to Brienne for making it through. Shouts out to Podrick for making it through. Shouts out to Arya for being the MVP of the episode and killing the Night King. No one saw it coming. There was another scene after the Night King had got knocked off the dragon. He was making his way to Winterfell to kill Bran, and Jon tries to run up on him, and they're on the battlefield. Corpses everywhere. And the Night King has his back to Jon, and Jon's running up on him. And the Night King turns around. He's like, oh, you really want this smoke? You really want this smoke? He hit him with the, what's up, homie? And rose all the dead motherfuckers that was on the battlefield. And Jon was like, fuck. And he just had to start. And he rose the dead of all the people that were dead inside the castle of Winterfell. That's when I was like, oh, you guys are dead. He wins. He wins. I thought there was a moment where I thought he was just going to be like, surrender the castle. But I was like, he didn't care. He's going to kill you all anyway. So you guys are dead. You guys are all dead is what I thought until Arya saved the day like a fucking superhero. Whew, this is a great episode. This was a great episode. So now we have political intrigue for the last 3 episodes, which is what it should be. I love that. I love the fact that the Night King threat paid off. That storyline wrapped up. That was a great payoff. I'm happy with the finale, with the finality of the Night King story. I like how that ends. Let's get to the main story. Let's wrap this up. Cersei, you got to die. So we're going to finish this up, and we're going to see what's going on. You know how we do. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. What was your thoughts on Season 8, Episode 3, The Long Night? If that's not what it ends up called, I'll change the title in the title on the YouTube and credits and all that. But I think it's called The Long Night. Anyway, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, you know how we do. This has been a phenomenal weekend. Make sure you go check out my Avengers Endgame spoiler review. Because that's what this has been. It's been Game of Thrones and it's been Avengers Endgame all weekend. I'm not going to do any spoilers for Endgame on here, but make sure you go check out my Endgame spoiler review. Until next time, you know how we do. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Peace. 100, y'all.
So faded on a track like this, 'cause the music makes me high. And if I only got one more night, I'm gonna leave out a loud goodbye.
This gonna be the type of night they make.